Hi, I'm Bridget Flaherty. I'm the Director of Global Engagement at the Chicago School, and I want to tell you a bit more about what it's like to study abroad at the Chicago School and let you know more about the details of how to apply financial aid, as well as the specific programs that we have coming up in the next year. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask them, and you can also always reach out to our office. We're at studyabroad@thechicagoschool.edu. So first, I want to talk a little bit about why study abroad matters and how it can help influence your career, affect your life. This is some information that's from research that was done by the Institute on International Education. They looked at the types of skills that students gain by studying abroad, as well as what employers are looking for when they hire, when they promote, and they found a lot of overlap between these areas. So what you can see here are these skills that are broken down into intrapersonal skills, things like tolerance for ambiguity, adaptability, flexibility, cognitive skills like problem solving, curiosity, confidence, and then also interpersonal skills like leadership, communication, teamwork. So all of these are skills that students can gain by going on study abroad programs and are also things that employers are looking for when they hire. And one thing that we also hear quite a bit from students who go on our programs is what a life-changing experience it has been for them. And that is typically both professionally and personally. Sometimes they come back wanting to focus their research on a different area, move into a different thing within their career, something along those lines. And then this is also some more recent research that was done about study abroad alumni. This was specifically done with students who were in undergraduate business programs, but there has been similar research that has shown this, that students who study abroad tend to have an overall average higher salary when starting in a position after they study abroad. This is seen across students from all different spectrums of what types of grades they get. That it's seen for students that are like straight A students as well as students who would get B's and C's as well. And that you can see every year this lighter green color is students who have studied abroad, and then those that are the darker green, those who have not. So you can see that difference in the starting salary for this specific research that was done. So I want to talk a little bit about these different areas of what's unique about study abroad at the Chicago School. To start with, all of our programs are developed specifically by Chicago School faculty and led by them. So they are focusing on an area of expertise within their discipline that's current and relevant and pertains to the country that you would be traveling to. Most of our programs are developed for graduate students with an academic focus. We do have one undergraduate program this coming year, as well as some programs that are open to both undergraduate and graduate students. All of our programs have a service learning project, which is a really great way to engage with the local community where you travel. And most of ours are for 3 credits that you can earn towards your degree. We do have some programs that are 2 credits. Because our student body is made up of professionals who are busy, most of you have full-time classes, sometimes part-time, but most of you are full-time students. You might be working part-time or full-time. You might have other family obligations, other ways that you're involved in your local community. And so because of that, it can be very difficult to leave for an entire term or an entire semester, the way that often other study abroad programs tend to be. So instead, our programs are ones where you would study either online or on campus. Programs are online, and then you would be traveling to the country for the study abroad portion, usually for between 8 to 12 days. So it's a lot easier to be asking, for instance, for your supervisor to have a week and a half off of work rather than 2 months or 4 months if you were going for an entire semester. We do have financial aid available for our study abroad programs. So the most important piece of this is that you make sure that it will substitute towards one of your degree requirements, and you would work with your department chair for this. If you're taking a course that's offered within your academic program, that's usually pretty simple and it will meet a specific elective. But if you are taking a course that's offered in another department, you're able to do this for many of our courses, and you would just need to make sure that it could count towards something you need for your degree. So it might be an elective, it might be a diversity course requirement, something along those lines. If you are in the international psychology program, that is the only one that does not allow course substitution. This is because students are required to do a field experience in that program, and the study abroad cannot count towards that or any other requirement for the degree. Students who are in IP can still go on a study abroad program, but you wouldn't be eligible for financial aid. You would essentially have to pay out of pocket for all of the costs. Otherwise, for our programs, receiving financial aid has to meet the standard rules and it would have an impact on your total loan limit. It's important to discuss this with financial aid early on to get a better sense of what that looks like for you. If any of you do receive military benefits, it's important to discuss this with the military benefits staff. So, my understanding is that typically, if as long as the course counts towards your degree requirements, that you would be able to have VA benefits cover the tuition, but they typically don't cover the program fee or the other costs, which I'll talk about a bit more later on. And then we do have a study abroad scholarship that you can apply for each semester. It's an option on the application itself. So when you apply for a program, it will ask if you want to be considered for the scholarship, and you would submit an essay, and there's directions there on what to write about. For our summer programs, which are the next ones coming up that you can apply for, February 1st, which is coming up soon, that's the deadline for those programs to apply for the scholarship. So you must submit your application with the scholarship essay by February 1st if you do want to do that. But if you are looking at one of our other future study abroad programs, we do post on our website where you can find the deadline for each of those upcoming semesters. So I want to talk a bit more about what's coming up. So these are our programs that you can apply for, and hopefully you'll find something because we have many that are coming up in this year, that you'll find some that are of interest to you and would match with your academic program or what you're interested in. So first, in this coming summer, these are the programs that you could apply for right now. And you can apply for the program in Brazil. This is in the clinical psychology program. So it's open to any students that are in clinical psychology and applied clinical psychology. And it's focusing on the climate crisis and how it's being handled both in the US and in Brazil and comparing the two. We also have a program that is traveling to Nunavut, Canada in the Arctic Circle. That one is being taught by a professor in the international psychology program. But that's open. This one's open to everyone, both undergraduate and graduate students. And so that it's a really exciting opportunity to be able to go to the Arctic and explore that area, learn more about the people that live there as well. And then we have another clinical psychology program that is going to Germany, mostly spending most of the time in Berlin. That one is focused on intergenerational trauma and how that impacts children and their families, as well as treatment. And this one is prioritized for students in the clinical psychology program, but it is also open to applied clinical psychology students. And just so you know, this picture here is one from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, where that program is going. We also have a couple other programs. One is going to Milan and Florence, Italy, and it's taught through in our business psychology program. It is open to all graduate students, regardless of the program that you're in. And this is focused on the psychology of creativity and understanding creative behavior. That picture here is from Milan. And then another program that's going to South Africa that is taught by faculty in our educational psychology and technology program. And that one it looks at a lot of different things. This is a very interdisciplinary program, and it's not going to Cape Town or Johannesburg, which are some of the more common places to go in South Africa. It's actually going to Pietermaritzburg and Durban. So it's an opportunity to get to see some other parts of South Africa. And this one is also open to all students in both undergraduate and graduate programs. And all of these summer programs have already had information sessions specific to the program to learn more about them. And you can find those on our YouTube channel as well, or email our office if you want some help with finding those videos. We also have five programs that will be offered in the fall. These programs, the applications are going to be open on February 2nd, 2026. So basically, one program is going to Germany. This one is specifically for undergraduate students to learn about intercultural communication and psychology and comparing things in Germany and the US. And then there's one going to Japan that's out of our applied behavior analysis program. This one it will be the third year that it's running. It's been a very popular program with students. This photo here is one from Japan, of course, and it's focused on pro-sociality and cultural health in Japan. It's open to all graduate students in any program. And then there is another clinical psychology program being offered this fall that will be going to Poland. It's focused on psychological legacies of the Holocaust, and it's open to PsyD students across all of those programs. So that includes the clinical, applied clinical, and forensic psychology programs. So two more that are running in the fall. One is going to South Africa, and this one will go to Cape Town, South Africa, and it's with the marriage and family therapy program, and they're focusing on lifespan development and cross-cultural perspective, and it is open to all graduate students in any program. And then Spain and Morocco, this is a picture here from Morocco, that's offered by the educational psychology and technology faculty. And that will be, again, it's an interdisciplinary program that will be traveling to both Spain and Morocco, and it's open to all undergraduate and graduate students. So most of these fall programs will have information sessions coming up later this spring or in the summer, and we will be advertising those through email and also on our Instagram account. And then finally, for the coming year, we have seven programs that are being offered in spring of 2027. We actually have four that are offered within the clinical psychology program. One of them is going to Botswana. This is one that ran a couple of springs ago and was very popular with the students who attended that. It's focused on evidence-based child and adolescent treatment in Botswana, and again, comparing it to the US. The priority for that class is for the PsyD students in the clinical programs, but some master's level students may also be eligible to join. And I know that the last time this ran, there were a couple of master's level students that joined the course. There's also a clinical psychology program going to Greece. This one is focused on cognitive rehabilitation, both adult and pediatric. And this is open only to clinical psychology students that are in their second year or beyond. There's a program going to Sardinia, Italy, that's in clinical psychology. That's being run this spring, and so next year will be the second time it's going. This is focused on health behaviors and longevity because Sardinia is one of the blue zones areas of the world, and so that's what they're focusing on within that. And this is only open to students in clinical psychology at the Washington, D.C. campus. Unlike the other ones that are taught online, this one is taught on campus in DC, so that's why it's only open to those students. And I should mention this picture here is from Athens, Greece. So that's one of the locations you would be spending time if you go on the Greece program. And then there's one, and this is the last of those clinical psychology programs for spring of 2027. It will be traveling to Ireland and Northern Ireland. And this is looking at intergenerational trauma and trauma care, focusing on Ireland and Northern Ireland and the intersection of history, policy, and mental health. The priority for this course is for clinical psychology students, but then it is also open to applied clinical psychology students. And then there is a course going to Poland. This is one that has run for several years in the past. It's out of the marriage and family therapy program, and it's connected to the March of the Living, which is something that happens every spring. People come from all over the world and they take part in this, and it's focused on the Holocaust and survivors of the Holocaust. And this is open to all graduate students. And then these are the last two that are offered for the spring of 2027. And that includes the South Africa program that tends to go every year in the spring that is focused on cultural connections with South Africa in our applied behavior analysis program. It is open to all graduate students across all programs. And then the Switzerland program, which also runs every year and has been a very popular one. This is in the marriage and family therapy program. It's focused on spirituality and addiction through the lens of Carl Jung. And so I know that they visit the Jung Institute while they're there, and learn a lot about addiction treatment. And this one also is open to all graduate students. And then finally, we do have also the programs planned for the summer of 2027, if you want to think ahead to that term. So there is one for clinical psychology that will be going to Argentina. It's focused on health psychology and behavioral medicine there. The priority for this is to clinical psychology students. But it would also be open to master's students, that they may be eligible if there's space for that as well. And then there is a program that's going to Benin and Togo in Africa, and that is focused on psychology there, including the Vodun religion and culture. And that's taught within the international psychology by a faculty from that department. This one is open to undergraduate and graduate students, so another opportunity if you are in the undergraduate program. And then the Finland program is taught by faculty in the Applied Behavior Analysis program. This one is focused on the Finnish approach to education and parenting and comparing it to that in the US. And this one is open to all graduate students across all programs. And this picture here is from Helsinki, Finland. And then two more for the summer of 2027. There is the Italy program that I mentioned earlier. This one has been going every summer recently. So again, focused on the psychology of creativity within business psychology, and it's open to all graduate students. And then we do have a program going to Peru with faculty from the educational psychology and technology program. And again, it's a more interdisciplinary program that's open to all undergraduate and graduate students. So then just a little bit about what the application process itself looks like. So basically, we use the term calendar for the prior term for each of our programs. What this means is that we have to determine several months in advance whether we have enough students to run the course. Then we have to make sure we have hotels booked and pay for everything that's part of the program. So that's why we have these earlier deadlines than you would typically have for one of our classes. So, for instance, for the summer one courses, you need to apply for those by February 27th, 2026. And then we will know after March 8th if we have enough students to run the course, because that's the add drop for our summer one study abroad. And then summer two, the deadline is May 1st, and the deadline to add or drop the course is May 10th. So then we'll know by then if the travel will happen. So the scholarship deadline, though, for both of these is February 1st. That way we can let everyone know whether or not they received a scholarship before that final add drop deadline, in case whether or not you go depends on if you do get that scholarship. And then for all of our programs, we have a global portal where you would apply online, and you also find more information about the programs online. And what we recommend is once you apply, you also start that conversation with your department about whether or not you could do a course substitution to receive credit for your degree. So once you've applied, the next step is that our office reviews your application for eligibility. We would be looking to make sure that you're an active student, degree seeking, that you have, as graduate students, have a cumulative GPA of 3.0 or higher. Undergraduates need to have a 2.0 or higher. You can't have any holds on your account, either academic or financial. If you have a hold on your account, we'll let you know that we have to pause your application for that reason. If it's a financial hold that you're able to resolve while you're still eligible, we would be able to move your application through the process once you've resolved the hold. And you also can't have a pending student and community standards hearing, which is the student conduct process. Let's see here. So the once we've done our review, we send your information to the faculty for the course, and then they will review it. Most of our programs require an interview as part of the process. Some require an essay. If an essay is required, you'll see that on the application itself. And then the faculty let us know if you are admitted to the course, and then we will notify you, and then it's the ball's in your court for you to determine if you want to register for the course. But all registration is done through our office together with the registrar. So you'll have to let us know so that we can register you for the course if that's the decision that you make. So a little bit more about the cost of the course. You would be responsible to pay tuition for the course, which for most of our courses is 3 credit hours, although some are 2 credit hours. And the tuition is at your degree level. So if you are a master's level, you'd be paying the master's level tuition rate, doctoral level, paying the doctoral level along those lines. And then you also need to pay the program fee. So this varies by program, and this is always listed on the portal and also on our website where we have a chart. And the fee will cover the hotel or lodging you're staying in for the program, all of the activities, tour guide fee, some of the local transportation, some meals. Typically, there's a welcome dinner and a farewell dinner. As well as supplemental travel insurance that I'll describe more in a few minutes. And basically, the program fee will be charged to your student account in the same way that tuition is. And so you would pay it as part of your total account balance. It's not refundable after that add drop deadline that I mentioned. And so that's why we have that deadline. Then after that, we are moving ahead with paying our vendor that we're working with so that we can have everything reserved for the program itself. And then there's also airfare, which you would need to pay yourself. You would book your own airfare because everyone's typically traveling from different cities to go on our programs. And then if you do need a passport or to renew it, if you need a visa, any type of immunizations and vaccinations, as well as other costs like the other meals that aren't covered by the program. So you would need to budget for all of that as well. So just a little more about financial aid, that it can pay for graduate students, it can pay for the tuition for the course. It could cover up to 100% of the program fee. It can also help cover airfare and miscellaneous costs. For undergraduate students, it's a little bit different where it could cover the tuition and the program fee, but it would not cover the airfare or some of those extra costs as well. So this is some information you can see where on the student gateway you can find our information. It's under the Global Engagement Office, and you can find the study abroad section there. There's also some direct links here that you can follow to get to information on the application, the global portal, as well as where you can follow us on Instagram. And to wrap up, I do just want to share this video from one of our programs here so you can get a better sense of what the experience is like for students.
This experience has been beyond my expectations. Students have gained so much from their interaction with the culture and the people, but also their interactions with each other. They're from various programs and they've come together and created a small family. We wanted our students to be exposed to history and culture and to begin to experience the language and take risks with the languages. But then we also partnered them with university students with whom they were able to make some connections. They could build a bridge. We also partnered with an NGO and were able to take our students into a community that experiences pretty extreme poverty and were able to provide a home for a family. This is one of the things that really sets the Chicago School apart. We want you out there in the world experiencing what the world has to offer
seeing where they lived prior to us building the house put things into perspective. And it gave us direction in terms of serving a purpose. I have been pushed to limits that I did not know I could even reach. Even though we were here for only 10 days, I truly believe that this is now taking me on a new path of being a global citizen.
While their students at home, they had the opportunity to take on the role of leaders and teachers in the community. To be in touch with the people provides a hands-on experience that they're not going to get in any other situation.
Any student that's considering enrolling in a study abroad, I would encourage them to do it as soon as they possibly can. It gives you an opportunity to see culture up close and personal.
So thank you. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to our office. That's studyabroad@thechicagoschool.edu. Or you can also go to the Student Gateway and find our website, and there's links there to the global portal with each of the program brochures as well as the applications. Thank you.